What's up, nerds? Back with another video. We're going to be doing a little Zümboxing class, and yeah, so we're going to start it off with, again, we've got our two different strength bands. We've got our red band, which is weaker, a little bit bigger, and then our black band, which you could see is thicker and stronger. Got my gloves. So I actually am going to be releasing, hopefully soon, some essentially, leather workout gloves, right? And so the prototype is basically, simple leather gardening gloves with just some nice stretchy bands attached to them. And that's because you kind of go through gloves a little quick, especially if you're starting off boxing. You might bleed a little bit. You don't really want to use expensive gloves. My skin is fairly calloused right now in the knuckles, so it's usually not so bad. But, I am going to be doing a little bit of heavier boxing compared to what Zümboxing is going to be. And I am going to be focusing a lot on technique today, which means if I do heavy and technique, if I do just technique, not so bad on the knuckles. If I do heavy, not so bad on the knuckles. But if I do heavy technique, that's when you can get a little bit of, kind of skin rippage. So that's why I'm wearing the kind of cheap gloves today. Obviously, if we're doing an actual class or if I have suggested materials for the class, it would be a solid pair of, I actually like gardening gloves, believe it or not. They've got nice wrist, it's not really wrist support, but they've got nice straps on the wrist. They've got really good absorption. They're very breathable. It's kind of silly, but I like gardening gloves for just Zümboxing because we're not really going to be doing 16-ounce heavy boxing glove work. So, with our workouts, or warm-ups for Zümboxing, as always, we're going to start with just some simple band work. I kind of like this red band as it is. If you really want to make it a little, if it's too stretchy for you, you're not feeling it, you could always do a little bit of wrap inside the wrist, right? But so I'm just going to start off with some nice full range of motion all the way out front, all the way back. And something that you're working on while you're doing this is keeping your core nice and tight. I'm not blowing out and going like this. I'm keeping a nice, give myself a good exhale breath. Give my chest, my core, I keep saying chest, I meant to say core. Keep my core nice, pressurized right, and I'm just giving a nice, all the way out. Ooh, squeeze that back. Squeeze really tight. Oh yeah, all the way in that back. Nice, all the way out. And we're just going to do, let's say 10 of these. I've already got 5 down, so we'll do another 5. It's a little cold in the basement today. I thought I turned on my heater last night, but I guess I did not. It's on, but it's not putting any heat out. So I'm going to real quick turn that bad boy on. Okay, now that we've done our chest out, right, we're going to do external rotations. So I like to grab with a little bit extra on the sides. And once I've got those little bit extra, I'm keeping my elbows tucked in. And I'm trying to go as, if you can also, if you need some help getting the feeling going, a good thing is to have your thumbs up and then really feel like you're pointing those thumbs and you're trying to get them as close to pointing to the wall as you can. And I might, for this, do like what I did before and just give my band a little wrap around the hands, boom. Maybe we'll do 2 wraps. Is that crazy? Is that a little crazy doing 2 wraps? Oh yeah. And we'll shift them around a little bit in the hands. When you're shifting them around in the hands, you want to pull by the full band. Makes it easier to shift. And bam. Oh yeah. And so now, again, core nice and tight. And I'm really just trying to bring those thumbs all the way back to point towards the wall. I mean, hey, if you can get it pointing all the way back towards the wall, good for you. I wouldn't stress it because it's not really, that might be a little too much mobility. Or you just have some real nice mobility in your arms. I wouldn't go too crazy. Because for me already, I'm already feeling it on the outside of my shoulders, a little bit of the front shoulder. I'm already feeling it nice in my arms, inner elbows. And so we're just going to go nice outstretched. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A little bit of bicep on this, but for me, I'm mainly feeling it all on the outside of my arm. All those external rotators. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And now, if you want, you can also do a little external, but gripping in a straight up and down manner. So instead of having the thumbs pointed out, you've got your hands, palms facing inwards, right? And you're just doing the same thing. Same thing. Nice core tight. Oh yeah. Oh man. That's a good one. The burn and the little, not burn, but the little fires we're lighting. Oh my God. When we're throwing punches, you talk about priming your body for some good punches. Oh man, this right here, golden. And then after this, we're going to do a little bit more back stuff, a little bit more triceps with the bands. But for now, just a little bit more external rotation. Boom. Oh yeah. Okay. So now we're going to take our band, hold it on one, or just hold the one band, and we're going to put it between our feet, right? And you're going to kind of step out a little bit so your feet are shoulder width apart. We're going to have a nice tight core. Our shoulders kind of relaxed. You don't want your shoulders to be up here. You just kind of want them to be relaxed. You don't want to be focusing. You don't want to be giving them pressure as you're doing this stuff. Similar to riding a motorcycle, similar to like driving a car. When you first start driving a car, riding a motorcycle, you kind of are up here, you're kind of nervous, you're kind of making sure you're driving. We're going to relax. Relax the shoulders, right? Make sure everything's nice and relaxed. Our core is nice and tight. And then we're just going to go up with the bands. We're only doing a really super light with the bands. Super easy. This is traditionally an exercise that most people don't really need to do, which is why we're only going to do a couple reps of it. Because most people activate their front delts in their life more than they think. So we're just giving a nice couple, 5, 6, just to prime those shoulders. Because again, after that external rotation, and after this, you should be feeling it all up in this front top shoulder, front top pec area. You should really be all this front half. So now, gonna move on to the back half. And my ceiling's a little low, so I might have to modify this a little bit for myself. Because we're going to do the exact same thing that we just did, except we're going to do skull crushers. So I might have to bend down a little bit right here. And so the important thing to distinguish is between skull crushers, just moving your triceps, and the next exercise we're going to do, which is shoulder press. So triceps, you're just really, just from the elbow up. Just from the elbow up, you're keeping your shoulders activated. You should feel a slight a little birding in them, a little triggering action, but you're keeping your shoulders still. Because then, after that, we're going to make sure we have our palms up. I'll make sure I get my band together. Boom. Make sure our palms are up, right? And if you do have, like me, a low ceiling that you touch, you want your palms to be touching the ceiling at the end. And you could do however, you could pull it a little wider, you could pull it a little closer, you could go outside to in. Oh yeah, the back. We're getting the back of that shoulder, our triceps, all of this stuff warmed up because we want our triceps to be feeling good. We want our arms to be feeling nice and warm and loose. Oh yeah. Okay. Nice and feeling, ooh, I'm feeling loosey-goosey, baby. Feeling gumby-wumby. Okay. So, got a nice little upper body action going, right? And so now, let's do a little bit of lower body work. If you want, you can take any of those things and hop it up in difficulty with the black band. I kind of like the black band when so today I'm prepped really well for today's boxing session. I did a lot of recovery yesterday at the gym, so I'm already primed and ready to go. My body's already loose, it's feeling good, it's ready to work out. So the red band is the best for me. If you're feeling a little stiffer and you just really need to get that blood flow going, like with maybe a little bit more resistance, that's where I kind of like the black band, because as you can see when I do with the black band, I'm already for these back exercises, the band's already tensioned pretty heavily, and you're getting a significant better pump. And we're still going to be, we want to keep, and don't get me wrong, it's nice to be pumped, but considering we're doing a lot of cardio boxing, you don't really want to be, you don't want to exhaust yourself too much, right? Because we're going to be doing some exhausting work in a little bit. So now we've got our upper body stuff. We talked a little bit about the bands. Next thing we're going to do is just a little bit of leg warm-up stuff. So for me, I am a huge Cossack squat fan. I think it does a whole lot of great stuff, activates all sorts of different things. But first, before we get into squatting, we're just going to do some nice, simple, light stretching. Just get stuff moving, get our hips opened, and then after that, then we can start throwing some body weight stuff and start moving around a little bit more. So, I've got a nice little table off here, off screen, that you can't see, and I'm going to be using that for my hip airplanes, because the hip airplanes, it's a little tough to see on camera. Have something kind of to brace yourself on. You're balancing on your one leg. Your knees kind of bent a little bit, not too crazy. And as you can see, is my back foot. This is the important part. That back foot rotation. That opening of the hips. Hip airplane, duh, right? And except you're not going to hip airplane like this. You're going to hip airplane. Let's see, can I find a stud? Here we go. And a hip airplane opening up. And if you can extend your arm all the way up, great. And so what I'm trying to do is really trying to move that leg open, keep my balance leg, keep that as straight as I can, and really I'm just trying to rotate and open up my hips, right? Same thing on the other side. Move over a little bit. So for beginners, and getting back into this myself, because it's hip airplanes are one of my favorite things to do, but I have not mastered it to the point where some of these yoga girls can just hip airplane and do all this stuff like crazy. I ain't yoga girl level yet, so cut me a little bit of slack with some of the balance assistance, right? So keep myself front leg bent just a little bit. I've got my back leg pointing out and starting to rotate. Oh, feeling it in my outside hip. And I come back in, go out a little bit, back in a little bit, because that hip airplane is doing the same motion as the punches. That same in and out, opening, in and out, right? So now we're going to do some similar opening stuff. So we're just going to come up with our leg, up and out. Just like we're doing with the hip airplane, opening up our hips. Same thing, except you don't have to worry as much about balance because we're just straight up and down. And all we're doing is really trying to, if you can, I know I am not the best example sometimes, so do what I say, don't do what I do. But you don't want to move your entire body, right? You want to keep your chest facing forward. In this case, my chest facing you guys, camera, and I'm just opening up my legs, right? I want to keep my upper body rotation as minimal as possible and keep it facing the front. And we're really trying to open up the hips. There we go. Nice. Everyone's favorite knee or toe touches, right? And this is a big time. You don't want to curve and go all the way down. It's nice to get a little bit of stretch doing that, right? Maybe get a little back crack or two, but the emphasis is more hinging at the hip and reaching down, feeling really our glutes and our hamstrings. And then if you could touch your toes all the way down, great. But if not, then we're just coming back up. Pulling our glutes, pulling our hamstrings to get us back up. Trying to get our legs really nice and warmed up. Oh, sorry, it's morning time, I gotta fart. Sorry, all the food from last night, everything's starting to work its way up. It's like, oh snap, Luke's awake, time to get going. So, sorry about those. Okay, so again, nice. We're standing up straight, right? Got our legs together. Hinging back at the hips. Hinging back at the hips. Our chest is up, nice and tall feeling. And we're just going down. Oh yeah. And then the glutes, the hamstrings. Oh, all of it. Woo! That's feeling good for me right there. That's feeling real good. Again, some nice. And then if we want to, hey, nothing wrong with a little curve back just to get all the way down. Nothing wrong with just once in a while. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And if you want, take it up a little bit. You can cross your legs. Down again. Get one leg feeling a little bit more activated. Go it again. Boom. Oh. Okay. Nice. Legs starting to feel, hips feeling good. Back of the legs feeling good. Do a little, what's that? What's the name of that dance? I can't remember what the name of that dance is, but that one, you know. And now that we've gotten a little bit of our basic movement started, now we're going to take it up a little, just a little slightly. And we're just going to do some body weight squats and a little bit more of some Cossack squat stuff. So, very simply, the Cossack squat is bending back, falling back in, or in this case, pulling ourselves back in with our lead leg, right? So I'll stand back a little bit, do it from the side. If you've got a bag, you can do it, use your bag, help you for balance. But so I'm pulling myself down with my leg. Again, you don't want to drop into these because you'll start feeling the pressure on your knees. really what we're doing is we're pulling ourselves down into these squats. And you don't have to go super deep, because really what we're doing is we're just warming up the muscles, getting it ready to open up, getting them ready to push out into the punches. And so, oh yeah. Oh, hear a little bit of the bones popping. I don't know if you can hear those on camera, but that's how, ooh, for me, oh yeah. Woo! I'm starting to feel it, baby. Okay, now, doing a couple simple, classic body weight squats. I like to keep my arms open, or arms out, just to help me balance a little bit. And I'm practicing doing exactly what we're going to be doing with the punches, which is pulling myself down. I'm not falling into a squat. I'm pulling myself into the squat. There's a pretty big difference, and you can feel it in your muscles. And then when you come out, and this is kind of the girl booty shake squat, but this one is big time. You're pulling your quads, and then you're pushing out, and you can feel your hamstrings. And then you're pulling yourself down with your quads, and you're extending your legs out. It's like a leg extension machine, except doing it with your body weight. Or at least you're just doing that movement, and that's kind of what your body ends up looking like. Okay, so let's see. Give myself a little check, go back and forth, leg to leg, see how I'm feeling, see how my knees are feeling, see how my quads, my glutes, my hamstrings, see how we're all feeling over here. And honestly, I'm feeling pretty good. So now we're going to throw on our gloves. So for me, those are my ghetto booty leather gloves. Well, so first, actually, before I put my gloves on, let me fix the old hair. Okay. Hair is fixed. Let's throw on our glove number 1. And if you've got a watch on, like I do, make sure that you keep that watch out of the way, because you do not want your wrist support to be your watch. That's not how that works. All right, so here's my one glove. Boom. And I'll put my watch on back over the bottom, because I do like having the movement tracker of my watch, because it's annoying when it's like, Luke, you haven't moved at all today. It's like, bitch, I Zümboxed for an hour in the morning. Did you not? Were you not there? Were you not paying attention? So, just to give myself a little motivation, because I motivated myself enough, but it's always just nice to get that little email, at the end of the week. It's like, oh, Luke, you did so good at moving around this week. It's like, thanks, I know. Okay. So get my gloves positioned properly. Okay, gloves on, whatever gloves you're using, we're good to go. And so now we're just going to do some simple shadow boxing, just some real simple movements, getting our body. We're going to do a little bit of pushing with the legs. We're going to have a little bit of our core tightness. However, again, saving a lot of it in the tank for the actual boxing section. This is just to get the movements down, to get the practice in. So if you didn't see the introduction to throwing a Zümboxing punch, I don't blame you, and don't worry about it because we're going to go over it right here. So if you want to if you're super beginner and you don't really want to dance around as much, you don't want to hop between the feet, you're just kind of doing just some walking movements, just some salsa movements, just some nice and simple step up and step backs, right? You're not going to be doing the full open stance punches, right? You're going to be just doing one foot in front of the other, simple 1-2 combos, simple nice in and out, right? Put one foot in front of the other. You're kind of leaning in a little bit, and you're just nice and simple punches, right? We're going to go over those first. So it's kind of nice for right now. Let me move the camera down a little bit. So I actually have to, okay, so for the purpose of this demonstration, it's actually kind of nice that I don't have the floor finished, because it gives you a chance to put one foot on the back, or you could see my one foot on the unpadded area, or on the padded area, not on the, there's no wood part, and then I've got my one foot, my front foot on the wood, right? So you keep a nice little distance, nothing crazy. You know, you really don't want to have this super huge lunge, because you're going to be pushing out and extending with that back leg. So you want to keep it fairly tight, right? Because on the flip side, you want to be able, if we're boxing against someone, you want to be able to move and duck your head and get out of the way of punches, right? So you got one foot in front of the other. You're kind of just like how we did the squats. This is why we prepared our body with those squats, because that's what a lot of boxing is it's staying in your little zone of control, your little area, and not moving, and being able to stay balanced inside that little zone, because when you're balanced, then you can drop in and deliver a nice strong punch, right? But again, we're not worried about strength, we're just technique, but through technique comes strength. Anybody can throw hard punches using pure physical power, physical force, right? But you can also, and I think the best way is you want to be able to, in a perfect world, you want to generate power through technique first, and then add on top of that, right? And then that's what saves your body, that's what keeps your wrists the strongest, or builds wrist strength, first off. So, real basic punch, one leg back, one leg forward, you're inside this zone, your body's nice and balanced, you're able to do kind of couple little body weight squats in this position without falling over, without feeling any sort of weird way. You've got your arms, shoulders down, shoulders nice and loose. You've got your arms, I like to keep them around chin level. If you want to keep them up peekaboo, turtle style, Mike Tyson, sure, no problem. That's kind of a little bit better when you've got the big gloves around to kind of help be defensive around your face. I kind of like having it chin level. Again, you're not going too far up past your elbows or past your shoulders. And all we're doing is we're gripping the floor first. Gripping the floor. We've got our legs kind of tensioned and pulling the floor apart. Our feet, our toes are spread. They're pulling the floor apart. And you can see when I pull the foot apart or floor apart, it makes me want to stand up, right? So that's our first cue. So we've got ourselves ready to pull the floor apart, or you're pulling the floor apart and you're holding that tension when you go back down. Then after that, you're going to have a nice tight core, right? You're going to have your back pull your arm. You don't want to be moving back, thinking about your fist, bringing your fist back. You want to be thinking about behind your back, pulling your arm back, and then you've got this spring-loaded kind of action going around. Like, you're not pulling your arm back and holding it back with your fist. You've got this full tension loaded from your back, pulling it all the way back, keeping that tightness. You've got everything all nice and tight, and then you're going to be springing everything forward and pushing it forward and out. And that's something Bruce Lee was a big shortest distance possible Wing Chun. It's a striking martial art where it's very quick. You strike hard, fast, and that's where it's all, you're not moving your fist, your back is pulling everything tight, you're nice and lined up where you want to go. My elbow's not in, my arm's not out, I'm not like this, I'm straight directly back, and then when I come out, it is pure explosive force, boom, right up, 1 to 2, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to add in the bottom to that as opposed to just having the back in and out. So we're going to make sure we're going to start, make sure we're at a good distance. I'm a good distance away from the bag. My fist face, the front of my knuckles, the front of my hand is nice and flush exactly with the bag, right? It's a little, I have to add a little bit more rice to this bag. So if I'm down here, it's a little bit easier to see. I'm bending down a little bit too much. Don't do this. Just to show you the example of, boom, nice, lined up, perfectly lined up. My fist is nice and flat with the bag, boom, right? This is how I know I'm in a good spot. And I'm just going to, I've got my other arm up, and I'm going to come in, I'm nice and tight, right? Everything's nice and back. And then when I come forward, I'm pushing out with my back leg. My hips begin to be, they're a little bit open. They shift forward, right? My chest and my core is nice and tight, keeping that pressure, right? And it helps transition that strength from that back leg through the hips, up and out, and that spring-loaded arm that we've got comes right out and connects with the bag. So, do again just in one motion. Got this. Boom. And so we're going to do a couple just shadow boxing punches just to get the feeling, get that punch. Do it with the other side. Boom. Nice and out. Nice full. So you want to punch straight into the bag. I need to get some more rice to fill up the top of the bag, because this top part, you can see there's not really much rice in here, and I'm a taller guy, so if I don't punch down, I'm just going to be punching air, and I do want to punch some rice. So I'm going to be punching a little bit down, but you really emphasize straight out and into the bag, right? And so we're just going to do a couple warm-up punches like that, and then we're going to get into the Zümboxing, and I am going to have to take this off because I am definitely warmed up enough to do some actual boxing. So let's take this bad boy off. Okay, perfect. All right, let's do some nice, again, simple punches. there's rice coming out of my bag. Actually, there we go. Just do a little moving around in there to break it up. Oh yeah, yeah. Get a nice ooh, all the way out, full extension. Ooh. I'm getting a little carried away, having a little bit too much fun. I think it's time. I gotta put some music on because I'm starting to get a little too excited and kind of want to get to some punch in. So I've got today's video lined up. It is 10 minutes 38 seconds long. So let's get into it, baby. Play. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right. All right. And there we go. That's a class in the books, baby. Class in the bag. I'm going to do another little treadmill session just to blast my legs out. But there you go. Now you're set to go. If you want to do arms, get a juicy arm pump. If that wasn't enough cardio for you, you can hit the treadmill, hit the exercise bike. But I mean, there we go. Throwing punches, having fun, doing a little dancing. That's what Zümboxing is about. Zümboxing's about, baby. Anyway, smoke grass, eat ass. Be excellent to each other as always. I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.